Good morning. This is our team multimedia presentation on the defunding of Planned Parenthood. I'm Vianney Gonzalez.
I'm Gracia.
I'm Samantha.
I'm Elena.
And I'm Micah.
So our key question is the defunding of Planned Parenthood beneficial to the general public? And from this we stem into different questions, of which there's what would the effects be, how would it affect, and by how much would be affected, and is the federal funding under consideration?
Our research has led us to develop the argument that Planned Parenthood should not lose its federal funding due to the amount of negative effects and the impact it would have on its patients.
Some background information regarding Planned Parenthood stems from its foundation, when in 1916 Margaret Sanger, Ethel Byrne, and Fanny and Mendel opened the first birth control clinic in the world, in the country. And their original mission statement was to give sexual and reproductive health and information to the public and to make it accessible. And their services that they've provided have progressed along the 100 years that it's been open, and those services include cancer screenings, STD checks, and abortion services. The political history has also evolved over the years that it's been open, and one of these is, and Planned Parenthood has been at the forefront of the women's rights movement, and that has also created some opposition, which includes the pro-life movement.
So, while Planned Parenthood's federal funding is mainly under consideration because of abortion services, Planned Parenthood offers a multitude of other services that are not related to abortions, including screenings and treatments for a wide range of sexually transmitted diseases and infections, screenings and treatment for breast cancer, cervical cancer, and other cancers, and emergency and non-emergency contraceptive services, pregnancy-related services including prenatal and postnatal care. And in 2017, they provided healthcare services to 2.7 million people. And this is not including the number of people that they provided with sexual education, and that number is about 1.5 million.
So branching off from the contraceptive side of it, the teen pregnancies have been lowered by 28% in the last 40 years due to the motivation that other companies and other associations got from Planned Parenthood since 1916. And this map is almost 80 years later, in 1990. It shows the teen pregnancy rates among 1,000 women, 15 to 19 years of age, and it counts the live births and illegal abortions. And here is 2012 with all the Planned Parenthood clinics that are usually targeted to minority neighborhoods, and they're in walking distance, in fact. The red would be the Hispanic walking distance clinics, and the blue would be the African American. They're usually targeted towards them, and in fact, the minorities for black teens is lowered by 45%, for Hispanic teens 26%, and by white teens 50%.
Some of the social questions asked when regarding the funding of Planned Parenthood comes with social spatial equity, which Gracia aforementioned. One of them being that it is easily accessible, but not necessarily equally accessible by everyone, but it can be accessed through public transportation, and it is usually in a metropolitan area. Another thing usually asked about is who benefits from it, and the answer would be that anyone can benefit from Planned Parenthood services because they're usually provided affordable services, as well as they're covered by insurance policies. And nearly 75% of people that go to Planned Parenthood and use their services are at or below the federal poverty level. Other social beneficiaries would have to be regarding gender and sexuality, as well as ethnicity and race. So as Micah mentioned before, in their mission statement, they claim to be a all-inclusive. So this is regardless of ethnicity, race, and language spoken. They also provide services for transgenders and the LGBTQ community, one of those being the hormone therapy, male to female and female to male. another one would have to be age. So their services are provided to people of all ages. So for example, the transgender hormone therapy, it needs parental permission, but it is accessible by anyone of any age.
So, despite all these positive effects, such as the provision of various healthcare services, the availability of all around the country, and the provision of sexual education to anyone, Planned Parenthood is still at risk of losing its federal funding due to its abortion services. Now, what would happen if Planned Parenthood gets defunded? By defunding Planned Parenthood, millions of women, men, and young people who rely on Medicaid and other federal funded programs lose its ability to access health care. As you can see, according to Planned Parenthood, approximately 60% of its patients access health care at its nonprofit centers. Also, a research done by Annalisa Pachman at Texas A&M University states that Texas abortion rates went up by 3.1% in the past 3 years since federal funding cuts were made.
So some potential solutions that we came up with was to raise awareness about the kinds of services and education services that Planned Parenthood provides, and to also educate the opposition about these services, to maybe tell them that it's not only used for these abortion services, and to make the drawbacks of defunding, of the federal defunding, known to the public.
So some limitations and implications of these solutions do pose somewhat of a challenge. Nobody can force anybody to change their views, so even if opposing viewpoints are made aware of the benefits of Planned Parenthood, if their opinion is set in stone, there's no one and nothing that would be able to change that. But it does allow them to better base their opinions and beliefs on the subject in fact rather than purely in opinion. There are always other health clinics for people to go to, so while Planned Parenthood is the most widely available and provides a very wide range, there are other health clinics that people could benefit from. And if Planned Parenthood is shut down, the demand for abortion services will not decrease or disappear. In fact, it might go up, leading women to seek unsafe or illegal abortions.
So, Micah, can you tell me a specific way your thinking changed as a result of reading Samantha's findings?
When I read Samantha's findings, it made me understand that Planned Parenthood as a whole was made accessible to youths and just everybody, and all the kinds of things that were changed and evolved along the way.
Okay. Reflecting on your colleagues' work, which had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the problem element?
I would have to say probably Vianney's. She had a really wide range of information that encompassed basically the wide range of people that can seek help and treatment at Planned Parenthood, and it really opened my eyes to how much of a reach Planned Parenthood has.
Okay. In what way did you improve your ability to work with a group as a result, Samantha?
It would have to be in the way of keeping an open mind and realizing that my research wasn't just like the main reason for the solution, that there were other not solutions, but other viewpoints or other lenses, as we've learned, to this problem.
Okay. What is a way in which your team's resolution makes you think differently about your own research?
My research was mostly factual. Well, it was all factual. So our solutions were mostly about the public and the public's opinion about Planned Parenthood and how that could fix our issue. So it made me think differently about my own, because the services that benefit others are affected by the public opinion.
Gotcha. Having finished the project, what do you think is the gap in your team's research?
I think that if anything, some of our research maybe overlap sometimes, and if we had different lenses and we could look deeper into it instead of only the economic side or the ethics